Keep yourself in the loop of everything football on the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast. The latest news on and off the field, be it college football, Big Ten, SEC, Big 12, Pac-12, ACC to the NFL. We've got you covered. Listen to the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast.
Thank you for tuning in to the GSMC Football Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I am your host, your guy, DJ Youngs, back again. All right, man, it's time to get into another episode of what's going on in the football world. This is where you come, unwind, and unlock all of your joys that are football. All right, man, NFL, NCAA, I'm talking about it here, man. We're coming off of the draft special episodes. AFC, NFC, talked about every player that was drafted. Really named every player that was drafted, not talked about. In this episode, I will go in a little more detail in regards to that, because there's some things we got to talk about. There was a lot of things that happened in this draft, okay? There was definitely some steals, man, all right? I just want to address a few of them. Point out some people that you people may not know about, but need to learn, or you may learn the hard way if they're in your division of your favorite team, okay? So, we're going to get into it, man. As usual, the way the show's going to look, now that we're off of the special episodes. First segment is going to be the new news. Guy will, just talked about, or, new faces and new places, stuff like that, right? Then from there, definitely got to talk about Aaron Rodgers. I got to give him a little drama segment in, sit here and really just give my thoughts on what's going on with Aaron Rodgers and the looks at some of these trade options that maybe come about on the table. What I think about those, if it's worth it, if it's enough, if it's too much, and if it's somewhere that we would like to see Aaron go. All right. From there, I'll jump into those steals out of the draft. Some rookies that you guys really may not be on tune about, or it's really people that you may be on tune about and may just not be as surprised as I was on when they went, like 5th and 6th rounds, some top players, right? So I want to talk about those, and then I'm going to wrap it up, and I'm going to give some early estimations, not predictions, estimations of, as of right now, who may have a shot at Rookie of the Year. I mean, there's still some things to wait on. There's still some things you got to wait and see before we really just put all our eggs in one basket. But that's what the show's going to look like today, man. And I'm excited to get back to this format. So, man, let's jump into it. As always, I like to start off with the unfortunate situations that happened in the weeks past, man. Sadly, Texas Longhorns linebacker Jake Ellinger found dead off campus this past week. The linebacker, he was only 20 years old, and he's the younger brother, of course, of Sam Ellinger, who just got drafted into the NFL, man. So, really, really tough situation there. My heart and prayers go out to his family. Apparently, the way it went down out there in Austin was the Austin Police Department said they received a call at about 12:18 p.m. local time and responded to the address that it came from, a residential area just to the west of Texas University's campus, and they identified the individual as Jake Ellinger, who was a redshirt sophomore. They have no cause of death. They have not released anything officially yet. They do not consider anything suspicious, though. It's definitely another tragic loss for the Ellinger family. Sam and Jake's father, Ross, died back in 2013 during a triathlon in San Francisco from a heart attack at age 46. So he was young as well. Did not see that coming. Both sons dreamed of playing for the Longhorns after growing up as season ticket holders. So having them both on the team this past season, even though Jake was a red shirt, I'm pretty sure that it was all love there and excitement. And then when Sam just got drafted, I'm sure it was just a great time there. So it's a really tough situation, man. Oh, it's like they literally, like, 5 days passed since they were celebrating him getting drafted, and we celebrate with their sister Morgan and their mother, and him going in the 6th round to the Indianapolis Colts, man. But yeah, such a young man. Like, he was literally born in 2000, guys. Literally born in 2000, only 20 years old, so young. Hearts and prayers go out to, like I said, his family and the Texas University football team. Okay, getting on along up the way. I guess lighten things up and get into something a little more entertaining. Tom Brady, the football that he threw for his first NFL touchdown pass, is going up for auction. And I skip over these things, but this was so intriguing only because I can only imagine how much it's gonna go for. Because I'm about to say, didn't Tom Brady just break the record? Like, didn't his rookie card just break the record for how much a rookie card goes for, or something like that? So I'm just like, wow, the football he threw his first touchdown. Like, wait a minute. Like, okay, so the seller who has it, like, they wish to remain anonymous, I guess, because it's that serious. But since the game in October 14, 2001, when he played the San Diego Chargers, that's what it is. So it's a guy in Rhode Island. He's gone to Patriots games, since the late 70s. So clearly he's a big fan. And he and 3 of his high school friends first bought season tickets in '92 as college students and have kept the tickets to this day. So he's a big fan. I mean, I guess he just needed, a little bit more cash. Who knows? But yeah, on the fall day in October, the seller made his way to lot 11 right when the parking lot opened in the morning. Eventually, they dispensed to their respective seats, and the seller made his way down near the end zone. He said, looking from the 50-yard line to the south end zone, the left field goal post. He said, I sat on the left of that. The seller said, we would call them, they had nicknames for players and stuff like that. He said he caught a lot of balls in the stadium because he would, miss field goals. The kicker would miss field goals, so the balls would come there. But yeah, again, this is intriguing because I can only imagine how much it's going to go for. All right, talking about something a little more serious. There is a lawsuit against Iowa that was brought by former black football players. Okay, so a federal lawsuit brought by the group of former Iowa football players alleging that the staff members mistreated black players is moving forward in court, but they did remove some parts of the allegations. The former players allege they were demeanored and deemed, with racial slurs, forced to abandon black hairstyles, fashion, and culture to fit the Iowa way, promoted by Coach Kurt Ferentz. And there's been, all kind of stuff going on around that. The university agreed to pay Doyle, who's the strength coach, Chris Doyle, pay him $1.1 million in a resignation agreement last June, because apparently he was a part of that. So it's been kind of an ongoing thing, and they're just trying to see what all things are going to get through and what things are not. Those former players include Aaron Mins, Brandon Simmons, Javon Foy, Akram Wiley, Markel Joyle, Jonathan Parker, and Darian Cooper. They were allowed to pursue these claims against Doyle and Brian. So the judge, basically threw out an allegation that Mins was retaliated against for complaining about or supporting teammates' claims of racial discrimination. They also dismissed allegations that Iowa created and maintained a systemic pattern of practice of unlawful race discrimination that the head coach failed to train and supervise his staff, and claim of breach of contract between the players and the staff. Unfortunate situation, as I usually say, and stuff that goes through court and needs a lot of fact finding and evidence behind it. Is that I hope that whatever happens is the right way of justice, that whatever needs to happen to make amends here, or whoever is in the right gets what they deserve, and whoever is in the wrong get what they deserve. But hopefully whatever it is, it ends with a brighter day for that organization, so that more young men come through there. They don't have to deal with that kind of stuff, or at least feel that type of way, and coaching staff also doesn't have to be in those type of situations. I hope, right? All right, now Aaron Rodgers, man. Aaron Rodgers. So as I told you guys in the episode, when we talked about the NFC, that Aaron dropped a bit of a bomb on those guys, man, saying that he does not plan on playing with them anymore, which stirs up a lot of things. But so there was some intel that came in from Green Bay Packers fullback John Kuhn, and apparently they're real close. So apparently his information is legit. So since the incident came about during the draft, which was like last Thursday, and he said he's unhappy with the Packers organization. During an appearance Wednesday night on the Zach Gelb show on CBS Sports, Kuhn said he wouldn't disclose the exact details of their conversation, but painted a picture of a quarterback who is evaluating all aspects of the situation and hasn't made up his mind for certain, really. So what he basically said specifically was he's conflicted because this man loves to play the game of football. This man loves the Green Bay Packers, and this man truly sees careers, long lasting there. He says he's watched friends leave. He watched Brett Favre leave. Brett Favre's career toward the end. He's watched all the things that play out in front of his eyes, that not getting respect, things like that. He's taken notes throughout his career. He's seen some situations that didn't feel were done or finished the way that could have been appropriate. So, he's letting everybody know that the guy doesn't feel comfortable in his current situation. So that's what makes it so tough. So, and that's why I had to decide and, go ahead and do a segment on places for him to go, because when you're not happy, you're not happy. Like, even with Deshaun Watson, a lot of stuff's going on right now. But before all that started off, it was clear that he was unhappy. And look, there's only so much you can do and spend on somebody to make them feel better. But when this is not just a game to these guys, this is their career, this is their life, this is their, their families. So they want the best situation for them, and I completely understand that. All right. News update: Detroit Lions make Frank Ragnow NFL's top paid center. Okay, congrats, brother. All right, so yeah, the Detroit Lions and Frank Ragnow have agreed on a 4-year, $54 million contract extension that makes him the highest paid center in the NFL. That's good, man. I love hearing big boys get their money, man. The linemen I rave about. Okay, I'll be excited. All right, let's see. Ragnow said, when you sign a contract like this, it's kind of hard to digest the amount of money. He said emotionally at that. Ragnow also acknowledges the pressure that comes with a massive contract. He said, I just want to be able to keep climbing. I don't think I have to do anything different. I just have to keep on the steady progression. I think there's a lot of improvement I can still make, which is exciting for me, and hoping that the Lions fans, hopefully for the Lions fans, but I just have to keep on my steady progression and keep working hard and keep doing all that I know to keep moving that direction. He's only 24, so real young, not even in his prime if you ask me. He came out in the first round in 2018 out of Arkansas. Just let you guys know. And he has started all 45 games since he's appeared and earned, a Pro Bowl selection. So shout out to Frank, man. I love hearing that, and nice to know that the Detroit Lions are investing in their linemen. Good job. All right, the Players Association fires back at NFL's voluntary offseason workout policy following Jawan James' injury. So I'm actually going to lace you guys up on Jawan James' injury first, and then you can kind of see why they are upset. So Jawan James tore his Achilles tendon in workouts away from Denver Broncos facility. All right, so team sources for the Denver Broncos told ESPN that James suffered a torn Achilles tendon in a workout away from the Broncos facility. The injury is considered season-ending, and James will have surgery to repair it. Given his injury occurrence when he was not at the team's facility, it could be classified as a non-football injury, or NFI, and the Broncos would not be obligated to pay James his $9.85 million base salary. He's played in 63 snaps for the Broncos over the 3 games combined, all in 2019. Since he signed a 4-year, $51 million deal with the Broncos in March of that year, James said late in 2019 season he had suffered a torn meniscus as well as a torn MCL in separate games in that season, and he opted out in the 2020 season due to the concerns of the pandemic, of course. So, with all that going on, of course, the team is trying to find out a way to not give him his money. And, being that they said that, it didn't happen while he was there, well, then you know what? You don't got to pay him. That's not a football injury on our end. So, now going back to the Players Association, they basically don't appreciate how the NFL's they tried to make him a scapegoat. Like, use that as an example. This is a serious situation. This guy really had a season-ending, maybe even career injury, and they're saying like, "Oh, well, we're not paying you." Like, they're not going to make sure this man is good as he tries to rehabilitate in order to get back on the field for this team. Like, no, I don't think it should work like that. If anything, maybe a percentage, but they're trying the whole salary is gone. The Players Association came out and said, it was gutless to use a player's serious injury as a scare tactic to get you to come running back to the workouts, the voluntary workouts, that is, at, it says the memo is another sign of what they think of you, and also affirms that they simply want to control you year-round and anywhere they can. So, it seemed like, tough situation for Jawan, of course, but it's tight for literally the whole league, as we see. But hopefully he gets better soon. Kentucky Wildcats wide receiver coach Javon Bouknight is charged with a DUI. Bouknight was also charged with possession of an open alcoholic beverage in a vehicle and driving 26 miles per hour or more over the speed limit. All right, so really out here wilding. That's not a good look. Pretty sure Kentucky's going to get rid of him. That's usually what happens to keep their name separated from individuals that do stupid things like this. He's 37. He was hired back in March 2020, so he hasn't been on the job long enough to even be out here doing crazy stuff. After one season as receiver head coach at Oregon, and came over there and blew it. Previously also served as an assistant at Texas Tech and Utah State. Enough of that wasn't smart, but keeping it with the laws. Arrest warrants were filed in Cleveland County this past Friday for former Oklahoma football players Seth McGowan and Trajan Bridges on a felony charges of robbery. Okay, so something super serious. It's robbery, conspiracy, and assault and battery with a dangerous weapon. Okay, Coach Lincoln Riley said Thursday that the players were no longer on the roster, telling reporters they're not members of our program anymore. On April 15th, police responded to multiple 911 calls from an apartment complex in Norman at about 11 p.m. According to a probable cause affidavit, the victim told police that McGowan contacted him via Snapchat to purchase marijuana. was told no, but proceeded to the victim's apartment anyway. When the victim opened the door, a man he recognized as McGowan allegedly stepped in and was acting strange with his hands up his shirt. The victim asked McGowan had a gun, and two other men, including Bridges, allegedly entered. So really tough situation there. I hate that. I mean, McGowan had 58 carries for 370 yards and 3 touchdowns last season. They're both 4-star ESPN top 300 recruits from the Dallas area. And to see this, it's tough because you don't want to. I don't know why those brothers feel like they may have had to do that if they are guilty. But if they're innocent, then I really hope these get cleared up as usual. You just hope that everybody gets what they deserve in situations like that. Baltimore Ravens cornerback Marcus Peters lets people know how he feel about how things ended, or the disrespect out of Los Angeles Rams in 2019 trade maneuvers. Okay, he says he's ready for round 2 with Jalen Ramsey and the Los Angeles Rams. So on Aqib Talib's podcast, Peters revealed that what set him off in November 2019 when he engaged in a heated post-game verbal altercation with Ramsey. The Rams acquired Ramsey only hours after trading Peters to Baltimore in the 2019 season. All right, so he said, F them, Peter said on the podcast. He said, I felt disrespected in the sense of, yeah, you can trade me, that's part of the business, but 2 minutes after that, you bring in another guy who do the same stuff I do. He didn't say stuff. Maybe a little bit different. He said, if we want to play this, compare game, I do a little bit more. He said that's what, that was disrespectful to him. He felt like, if y'all trade me and y'all just feel like y'all could work with what y'all had, then cool. But the fact that they did that, then got Jalen Ramsey afterwards, like as if they see Jalen Ramsey as a better asset, he felt some type of way and wanted to, create that beef. Talking about more cornerbacks, the Miami Dolphins released team captain and starting safety Bobby McCain. All right, Dolphins later made an addition to that secondary, though, which doing the same thing we just said Peters was upset about, agreeing to terms on a 1-year contract deal with former New England Patriot cornerback Jason McCourty. Didn't know Jason McCourty was just sitting out there, but getting rid of McCain, he was a 5th-round draft pick by the Dolphins in 2015, had 46 tackles and an interception in 2020. In his 6 seasons with the team, he had 7 interceptions, 4 sacks, and a forced fumble. So, apparently he's scheduled a visit with Watch the Football Team, but he's free out there. He was due to get $6.4 million non-guaranteed salary this season, but they've moved on. Tough noodles, buddy. Cornerback Casey Hayward Jr. signs with the Las Vegas Raiders. So he's back with defensive coordinator Gus Bradley. That's clutch. Hayward is 31. He was a 2nd-round pick to Green Bay back in 2012. So he joins now back on this squad. All right. Somebody else that's in a new place, new face, new place. Alejandro Villanueva is now a Baltimore Raven. They reach a 2-year deal. The deal is for $14 million and includes $8 million that is fully guaranteed. That is close. So after not drafting an offensive tackle, and then the Ravens added Villanueva to the right to play right tackle to replace Orlando Brown, who they just sent over to Kansas City. Everybody kind of wins here. Villanueva came from the Steelers, and he already apparently is discussing the difference between the Steelers and the Ravens. He likes his new home, so that's cool. Draft news: the NFL draft draws over 160,000 fans despite a pandemic, which people say points to a brighter day. I do believe that. I remember that they said everyone that they allowed in that was vaccinated, you have to be fully vaccinated to be able to go. But that's a lot of people, and I mean, like we've been talking about, they're trying to have regular stadiums again, regular attendance in stadiums again. So I guess this is their way of proving it. Like, hey, we did it like this, and all these people came, and everything went fine. But of course, it's not like they're going to release statistics on people that caught it there. It's not even like you can really track that anyway. Another new home, undrafted cornerback Elijah Griffin, who happens to be Warren G, the rapper, son, joins Buffalo Bills. So they agreed to sign him up. He came out of USC, and I guess that's a great little pickup. It's funny because in the article they like to talk about like, oh, well, Warren G known for his hit song "Regulators" with Nate Dogg, released back in '94. So they say he had to show his son some support. They said he had tweeted, "I'm rooting for my son to come there and make the team and add value to the Mafia success." So, love to hear it. Glad that they can do that, and I do like me some Regulators and Warren G guys. Last but not least, guys, real quick, DK Metcalf, set to run in that Open 100 Dash USA track and field event today, which I'm recording this on Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. But yeah, he established his credibility as one of the NFL's fastest players with his famous chase down of Buda Baker after that interception. And, he made the announcement. I can't remember if I told you guys that, but I just, dropping some track spikes in a video and dropping the date for today that, he'll be running. He started in, football, basketball when he went to Oxford High School in Mississippi. He was 6'4", 229. Metcalf was a standout hurdler and long jumper. He ran a 4.33 in his 40 during the combine and reached a top speed of 22.64 when he was chasing Buda Baker down in that place. So, he's been known for being somewhere around the speedsters of the league. So I guess now he's taking to the track to really prove himself. So good luck to him with that. But that's what we got for the new news, man. Stay tuned. Things are about to get interesting. We are about to talk about Aaron Rodgers. We'll be right back.
Are you looking for help for your fantasy football team? Check out the GSMC Fantasy Football Podcast. Get today's best advice on who to start, who to sit, even who you should draft. From sleeper picks to red-hot lineups, they got it all covered for you. That's gsmcpodcast.com/fantasy-football-podcast. We'll cover traditional leagues, dynasty, PPR, even IDP leagues. When you need fantasy help, there's just one show to hit up. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit gsmcpodcast.com for more info.
And welcome back. You are tuned into the GSMC Football Podcast with your guy, DJ Youngs. Okay, so, definitely want to start touching on a little bit more of what's going on in the NCAA as well as the NFL. Talking a little bit more about these young guys, right? So, the draft has passed. We just done the episodes involving who all got drafted and where, right? So getting into that, you kind of heard me touch on a few players that were significant that weren't in the first round, right? I would note here, there, but of course, to make sure that I didn't have you guys listening to the podcast for, 24 hours straight. I just kind of touched on things. So this is the episode I wanted to go ahead and use a segment to really discuss who some of these guys are. Because I know the NCAA, FBS football, just college football in general isn't like the NFL. NFL, we got 32 solid teams, and you just watch them go at each other, mainly their conference, in order to go to Super Bowl, right? Very easy. Well, see, when it comes to college football, there's independents, conferences, different divisions within them, conferences that don't have the actual number that they say they do as far as the title of the conference, things of that, such. And when it comes to, having room for these guys all around the country with talent going to schools, just because you don't go to the school that won the championship last year doesn't mean you aren't, worthy of, making it. You could go to one of the independent schools or, a smaller school. It's just what's hard is those are just the places that have, that don't really have those TV deals that get these guys seen plenty of times in order to be scouted. So I just want to take this time to kind of highlight not only the players, but really the GMs and the staff of these NFL teams that were able to get some gems in the later, like the ones that people weren't really paying attention to but should have. Because there's ones I heard of, there's also ones that I myself had to be laced up on. Somebody had to come and, tell me and show me why this guy is ranked where they were, or that they're underrated because people feel however they feel about them, where they're at, what school, right? So I wanted to take a couple of these guys that just got drafted and tell you their significance, right? At least from my point of view. Okay, so starting with the Chicago Bears selecting cornerback Thomas Graham Jr. out of Oregon in the 6th round, pick 228. I really like Graham because, first of all, Oregon's been one of those teams I've been, looking at for, quite some time, like Mariota days, Deontay Thomas, like, it was just a place that you wanted to watch. They always had all these cold uniforms from Nike, so it was definitely hyped. That was a team that I would play with on the last edition of the video game, NCAA 14. I'd play with Oregon, which at that time, I think they were ranked, number 4 or something. So take it how you want, but I really just picked them because I got to wear something different every time I play with them. They had 25 alternate uniforms, man. It's crazy. But yeah, so one of the few teams that I tune into from time to time is Oregon, mainly just to look at them in the green, man. Green, yellow, and white. Be crunk. But get into Thomas, man. So your boy Tom G here, it's only gotten better, man. And in a significant way. Alright? His coverage and his hands have only gotten better the last 2 seasons he played. So, Pro Football Focus, his coverage grade was 79.8 in 2018, grew to 82.9 in 2019, and he opted out his 2020 season, but that didn't matter. Just based off those statistics alone, you see the growth. Alright? So, with that, he was also ranked top 10 amongst, FBS cornerbacks in both passing, which he had 23 pass stops, and plays made on the ball with 29 in those, 2 years, 18 and 19 combined. He gets where he needs to get. He's only 5'10", and I believe, arm length, what you expect from 5'10", nothing too crazy. 192, but he can get there. He's fast and aggressive. Okay? So, with the Bears being able to get him all the way in the 6th, a top 10 ranked cornerback. And, cornerbacks aren't, easy to come by these days, especially in the draft. You saw him in the 3rd. They was already planning, I'm sure. This wasn't one of those picks where it's oh, who's left? Oh, well, let's take him. No, this was, I'm pretty sure, a luck pick. When you see a pick like this far in the draft, then every pick they have been picking was very, very strategic. Everything before that, whoever they picked in the 3rd, 4th, 5th, that tells you that they had plans. They didn't come here. It was like, well, we need these three things, and then whatever we can get from there. They had a plan, and I think it was a very successful one. Now, continue the topic on these cornerbacks in the 6th round. Let's talk about somebody that just came above Thomas G a little bit earlier. The Arizona Cardinals selected cornerback Tay Gowan out of UCF. Now, apparently, a lot of people weren't looking for Gowan because, they didn't have enough film on him. There wasn't enough stuff for them to go based off of because, he was a transfer. He transferred from University of Miami, the one in Ohio, though, Miami, Ohio, where he only played, one season at UCF before opting out this 2020 season. And, that just, it's been tough for a lot of guys. But I'm going to tell you right now, most of the guys, if not all the guys that opted out the 2020 season, there's probably like a small percentage that had true concerns for their family and themselves. But most of them just like, they knew they were set and why, risk getting injured and stuff. If you had a good season, your 2019 season, good enough for, them to go off of, then that means time to sit at home. I believe that, Tay might have been in that small percentage that was really concerned because, he knew he didn't have enough film. But in 2019, he was one of the highest graded corners in the country. That season alone, he allowed 20 completions of 50 targets for 274 yards with 2 picks and 7 pass breakups. In man coverage, he only allowed 5 completions on 12 targets for 71 yards on 107 coverage snaps. This guy is not allowing people to overcome his area. You're not coming in here running no special route and getting nowhere with it. Like I said, these completions, I'm knocking them down. It's not happening, so it's not a completion. You're not getting no yards after the pass, and you better hope and pray you get the ball to you because I might pick it. Pretty much what you would expect and what you would want out of your starting cornerback. Still young here, though. I think he do, because, again, it's a lack of film here. So I can only go off so much information. And so with that, I'll just say I don't know if he would be starting on my team, but he's definitely able to compete as a Cardinal. He's allowed to compete, come out here and, show us what he can do. So he can get that spot. That at least is what he's earned. Okay? Next one. Going back to Chicago. I know y'all saw when they finessed running back Khalil Herbert from Virginia Tech in the 6th round. In the 6th round. Like, this is a guy we literally just watched this last season jump off the screen. He averaged 9.2 yards per carry and broke 18 tackles on 42 attempts before leaving Kansas, at midseason and transferring to Virginia Tech. Then when he got there, he lit it up with 1,172 yards on only 155 carries, averaging 4.7 yards per carry. But still, the fact that, you went to another school in the middle of the season and went for over 1,100 yards. Super fast kid. I don't know what his top speed is or what his 40 time is, but you can see it when he runs that it's tough to catch him. You got to make sure your angle is perfect or he will outrun you. Matter of fact, he might destroy the angle sometimes. 5'9", 212, pretty much where you'd love to have a good, solid running back at. So he's going to do something special there. If they use him right. If they use him right. That was another great pick. Like I said, the Chicago Bears have very strategic picks, man. I have to admit. All right. Going to Seattle, staying in the 6th round, though. Seattle Seahawks had the 208th overall pick where they selected offensive tackle Stone Forsett out of Florida. He could have, he could have went anywhere, but he had a great performance versus Georgia DN Azeez Ojulari. on 46 pass blocking snaps in Florida's game against Al-Jalari, who finished with the highest pass rushing grade in the country last year. Forsyth allowed only one pressure. So this is a top DN, the best DN arguably in the draft. Guy that's giving everybody else problems. That's why he is the top. And this offensive tackle only allowed one pressure the entire game. I mean, like I said, that one speaks pretty much for itself. That's like, just imagine you having a backup and you get injured and the backup goes in there and like he never does good any other time or even in practice, but he did good on this. Like people even was scared to put him on this guy, but he was able to make something happen and basically contribute into the game winning. So you kind of can't ignore it and be like, all right, you haven't been that guy, but with that performance, we see what you're capable of. Now, mind you, this is coming from, I'm saying this for a guy that had already proven himself, right? So, like, he's already been battle-tested. Very excited to see that pickup, which Seattle, clearly they needed all the O-line steals they can get. Russ has had his concerns and has vocalized them. So they knew what they had to do in order to calm things down, right? Okay, so Cincy in the 6th round, grabbing Captain America, Chris Evans, the running back out of Michigan. I mean, it's Captain America. No, I'm playing. All right, so, Evans wasn't a high-graded running back, right? Just based off of his straight run appeal. But when it came to the grading on receiving one-on-ones, like, this guy, he might as well be a slot receiver. His ball skills, I think he's only had 2 drops on 51 passes. He averaged 9.8 yards per reception in his career at Michigan and stood out at his pro day with a 40.5-inch vertical, 10'7" board jump, and 6.85-second 3-cone drill. Prove yourself. Like, this is somebody that's like, oh, well, because the team, Michigan, wasn't as successful that maybe a lot of people didn't notice him. But then when you, put it at him and let him go at it at pro day, you're like, oh, wait, did we forget this? Did we forget this guy? How do we miss this? And they was able to finesse him. Okay, so one that, going on to the next one, this is one I talked about a little bit in the episode that I thought was, like I said, this is a steal segment. We're talking about some steals. Kansas City selecting wide receiver Cornell Powell out of Clemson in the 5th round, 181 all time. Wow. Okay, so the number 2 receiving position in Kansas City, could be anybody. You got Tariq. When we talk about wide receivers, so Kelsey, we're going to leave him in his own lane, but you got Brian Pringle and DeMarcus Robinson. They haven't shown it yet. It was formerly, the person that just got sent to the Ravens. Blanking on your name, buddy. But Powell comes in here, and you got to think about it. Clemson, top ACC contender. And this is one of their top guys that just didn't get talked about a lot. He was one of the most physical route runners just in the draft altogether. He's 6 foot or taller, 204 pounds, and over the final 6 games of his collegiate career, he averaged well over 100 yards per game, and he had 730 receiving yards, where the 6th most. And his 730 receiving yards were the 6th most in college football over that span of time. And he was somebody that had a great performance in his Senior Bowl. Second highest win rate of any receiver in a one-on-one against press coverage. So that means he can definitely get off the ball, get off, pressures and presses from the DB, get downfield, and make things happen. Very impressive. Denver Broncos selected safety Jamar Johnson in the fifth round, number 161. And really, this is one that I was just say, he's a good player. He has great experience. On 406 career snaps, Johnson picked off 7 passes and broke up 6 others. His biggest issue really is just come as a tackler, where he missed 18 of 80 career attempts, which isn't crazy large, but I mean, if you got a defense player, you don't want them missing double-digit tackles anyway. But he is somebody that definitely can develop, I believe, into what they are looking for. All right, next up, Tampa Bay getting Jalen Darden out of North Texas. North Texas school, I think, is usually ignored, right? So this is one that doesn't get seen on TV a lot. And, Tampa Bay, I feel like, was in the market for just one more receiver, one more weapon. And this was a great one. This is somebody that I have mentioned multiple times beforehand. And I mean multiple times as in, like, everything draft prep. When I mentioned receivers and stuff, I made sure I said something about Jalen Darden. I just didn't go into detail. But if you watch this guy's tape, he's solid. He's put on the weight. He's fast. He's broke out this last season with 74 catches, almost 2,000 yards, so 1,190 yards and 19 touchdowns. He also added 23 broken tackles after the catch, leading the country. So he doesn't flinch. He doesn't tense up because he's about to get tackled. No, he run through these people with no remorse and get where he's supposed to be going. And Tampa Bay got themselves somebody special. They finessed that one. He was focused on gaining weight so he could be stronger, and he did that. All right. Los Angeles Rams selecting defensive tackle Bobby Brown III out of Texas A&M in the 4th round. I'm not just saying this because he went to Texas A&M, but Bobby is a steal, man. Oh, man, he's a steal. He's been playing and getting the experience he needed with the Aggies, and that's one good thing about Texas A&M that I'd say is a lot of guys don't leave out of there too quick. So basically, he saw a lot of time while he was with A&M. Going back to his true freshman year, he started, and he had 85.1 run defense grade for his career. And anything above 80 is great. He tested out. He's 320 pounds and 34 and 1/4 inch arms. Basically make it hard for him to be moved or bullied around. Put him in the right scheme, he'll get the job done. He'll be plugging up those holes left and right so that running cannot happen. Now, the last one I want to bring up is one that I was really just shocked about, and that's why I left it for last. I did say something about it on here. I've been talking about it with friends because I can't believe it happened this way. But Dallas Cowboys, who have had their woes on defense, boy, have they had their woes, was able to get Michael Parsons. That was great in the 1st round, but then was able to backdoor in the 4th round with the 115th selection, get inside linebacker Jabril Cox out of LSU. First of all, Jabril Cox is already a household name. How did anybody let him get to the 4th round? And how did the Cowboys, who really are hurting in that department, get him? And the problem, too, is that clearly the Cowboys shouldn't be hurting in this department. You got Leighton Vander Esch, who, has had his injury issues, but is a solid linebacker. Jalen Smith got his money, should be better, should be stepping up. He had his one good year, and now they just feel like they're going into motions. And free agent Canu Neal, who they signed, that's cool. That's cool. You got him. You got Micah. But now he was able to get Jabril Cox, the 45th ranked player of Pro Football Focus draft board. Said his coverage grade is an 80. So like I just said, 80s and above are great for between North Dakota State and LSU is, through his 3 seasons, he saw only 41 targets this past season, but he still picked off 3 of them. This is a linebacker, y'all. Picked off 3 balls thrown his direction, broke up 4 more. So he might not get on the field starting day, but I guarantee you we're going to see him eventually, and he's going to prove why he should be on that field, and it's going to look crazy. I'm telling y'all. Telling you now. You're going to be shocked and shook when you see this kid go at it. I'm excited for it. But that's the ones that I really want to highlight. Look out for them. Trust me. It's going to be something to see. These guys are great athletes, and like I said, this segment was more about them. I mean, less about just who they are, but also about where they went and when they were selected. It just goes to show how the draft is such a, it's chess, not checkers, as they say. All right? So, hey, time for a quick break. All right? So, just stay tuned. Just, the commercial's going to be over before you know it, and we're going to continue this show. We'll be right back.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
Okay, welcome back. All right, so I hope you enjoyed that break. You're back on the GSMC Football Podcast with me, DJ Youngs. All right, now, as you can tell by the tone of my voice, I'm a little excited about this one. So, when you flipping through channels, or at least back in the day when you flip through the regular TV channels and it's a talk show, and they just talking about all kind of drama and, just really exploiting poor celebrities on what they may have be going through at the time due to some personal life issues, because think about it, it's rarely ever about their jobs. It's always about some other stuff, right? And so this one, I mean, it's not on that level, but this is my equivalent to really discussing, I guess, what you can call a juicy rumor, or just intel about what's going on. So, and it's really because of who it's dealing with, and just me being able to see greatness move around. So, talking about the Aaron Rodgers situation. Reminder, he came out on draft day and was like, yeah, I'm done. Now, he didn't officially, tweet that out or say it himself. The way it happened was that I believe they said, it was announced that his manager or agent or someone on his team said that he had basically been telling teammates that he doesn't plan on playing in Green Bay next year. And to me, I believe this could have happened one of two ways. Now, if this guy is just a straight up villain, and he can play his part he can play the long game, Then last year, when the Packers did not discuss with him any game plan on what they were doing, and they moved up to get Jordan Love in the first round, he may have made that the day that he was going to reap vengeance. Like, oh, going to embarrass me like that in front of everybody? Okay. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go out here, play some of the best football I've ever played, win the MVP, not take y'all to the Super Bowl. Like, we go at max conference finals, and then we're going to let up because I'm not giving y'all that satisfaction. And then that means I'll have the control again. I'll have the power. Because at that point, when I say something, everybody's going to listen. If not y'all, then the rest of the league. So I'm going to wait till back on draft day. What do you know? Let's try this my way. And hey guys, I don't plan on playing here anymore, so just start calling. And people were swarming. All right, now that's one idea. The other idea, which I think is more practical, is that, last year happened, they probably had a conversation with him and the staff, and they were like, this is a kid we're trying to get for the future. We do have to be honest here, and we see you're aging. You're not aging physically, but, biologically you're getting older. So when the time comes, we would like to really have someone good that can learn under you and, be your successor. And this was a kid that we really saw to be that guy. So we just want to make sure we did not lose him. And we had to fight for him because he was a top-ranked quarterback in that draft. So, keep doing your thing. We believe in you, and I will definitely speak to you more. Sorry that it seemed like we did that shady. We're going to do better next year. And, maybe Aaron Rodgers I appreciate that. Sure, you know what? I'm going to call Jordan. We're going to make sure that he's, learning as much as he can from while I'm here. I don't plan on retiring anytime soon, but, hey, who knows where life goes, and you got him for 5 years, so maybe he can get in there in that fifth one, right? And the year goes by, and it's time for the draft again, and it's 3 days before the draft. Aaron said his phone didn't ring. Then it's 2 days before the draft, and he said he doesn't have an email. Then it's the day before the draft, and he said I was at the facility, and no one acted like I was there or said anything to me. And now it's the morning of the draft, and he don't know what they're doing. No one brought anything by him or said that they were going to do anything special for him or asked him what he believed the team even needed. Maybe not even on offense, on defense. And so with that, he said, "Okay, this is where I draw the line. Y'all just did. Y'all, I don't care what y'all got planned. Obviously, y'all probably not getting another quarterback because you already got one. That'd be just idiotic. But the fact that y'all still have not respected me enough as Aaron Rodgers, Super Bowl winning MVP, league MVP winning recently, less than months ago, quarterback, then I just can't take the disrespect anymore." So let's let it be known so that y'all can have to deal with everything y'all got to deal with once this hit the media. But I do not plan on playing in Green Bay next year. All right, so that's the one I think may have really happened. Really teed him off, and he just wanted to get back out there in the system and let it be known. So with that being said, I just want to entertain some of these possible trade options that people have been throwing out there, just because where I think it would be cool to see Aaron Rodgers now, and talk about where it'd be cool to see Aaron Rodgers and see if it's worth the trade. Because regardless of Aaron Rodgers getting up there in age, what is he like in late 30s, 30, 35, 32, somewhere in there. But he's still, like I said, MVP winning quarterback. So you got to see how. Okay, yeah, he's 37. Aaron Rodgers 37. But you got to understand, it's normal for these guys to be up there in age, like superstar quarterbacks, and go somewhere else and still be successful. And I think that's what's really going to turn teams on. Okay, Peyton Manning leaves Colts, older age. They said it's time to go our separate ways. He goes to the Broncos. He goes to the Super Bowl. He wins the Super Bowl. Thankfully, he had a great defense, but boom, all right. Tom Brady, known as the greatest of all time, made a dynasty happen when he was with the Patriots. They thought they would never separate. He goes to Tampa Bay. His first year in Tampa Bay, they win the Super Bowl. You see where I'm going with this? So every team that does not have either an already superstar quarterback or just drafted the quarterback of the future for themselves are looking. They are cute. They want it. They want them bad, man. They want to jump in there and offer whatever they can to get this guy. So let's talk about some of these. All right, one of them, the Tennessee Titans, says the Packers will get quarterback Ryan Tannehill, the 2022 first-round pick, and the 2023 first-round pick. The Titans get Aaron Rodgers and the 2023 fourth-round pick. Now, as dangerous as it would be to see Aaron Rodgers in Tennessee, oh my goodness. First of all, they're winning that division with ease. But having Aaron Rodgers' arm mixed with the receiver talent that they have, alongside the play action that he'll be able to have because of Derrick Henry. Oh, the poor defenses, the poor defenses. That would be magnificent to watch. Now, it's not my favorite one, but I mean, as far as what's the trade value, Tannehill, 2 first-round picks, I think you need about one more thing on there to add enough for it to be worth it. I feel like that itself isn't just enough. I mean, it's a whole nother conversation if any of these teams couldn't even afford it, but I'm just saying, like, this is self. Because, I mean, the team has already been up there in AFC championships. They just couldn't win. You know, Tannehill didn't win a shootout with Mahomes while they were there. But it's a good start. It's a good place. I'd say that. Another one. Las Vegas Raiders trying to get in the mix, right? So theirs would be that, you know, they send the Packers Derek Carr, quarterback, 2022 first round, 2022 second round, and 2023 first round. Now, that there is a lot, okay? And then the Raiders would just get Rodgers in the 2023 fourth round. Okay. Me personally, I don't know if Vegas is the place for him, but as far as worth on what all they're giving up, I feel like this is a better deal than the Tennessee one. Okay? Now, Aaron Rodgers would probably have a field day, because usually quarterbacks like this really do good with great tight ends. So he'll have a field day working with Darren Waller, John Brown, and Henry Ruggs. He would have a field day, a great time for sure. I don't know how far they would go though, because now you're, you know, in the division with Kansas City. That's a tough team to beat. I don't know if that's the division he wants to play in. Dibble dabble in. At least I wouldn't want to do that. But it's definitely a team, and I don't want to really throw a slug at David Carr, but I mean, he's successful there enough to keep his job and make Las Vegas, you know, still relevant. So just imagine what would happen if they had Aaron Rodgers. Man, everybody would be wearing Raiders snapbacks and coats all over again like it's the trend, man. But I don't know, but Rodgers deserves to be in a more colorful jersey, though. That color scheme is cool for people like me who love wearing black, but you know, when it comes to the sports world, you might need something a little more aggressive, just a tad. Now, the one I'm going to next, no, actually, I'm going to save that one because that's my favorite. I'm not going to go there. Let's go, because what it is a lot of the way it's set up is the more likely. So the fifth and most likely one is my favorite. I mean, I don't know if I say fifth most or less likely, but forget it. We're gonna just get into it. I'm gonna keep it in the order of what's actually feasible versus what's just my personal favorite. So this one here is one that I'd like to see just because of how shaken up things would be around the NFL. So the Cleveland Browns. The Packers would get 2022 first round pick, 2023 first round pick, Baker Mayfield, and tight end David Njoku. Browns get Rodgers and cornerback Josh Jackson. I think this is a fair trade. It'll be huge news. They be talking about Baker and Green Bay all the time, and Rodgers with the Browns. So Rodgers with the receiving core of the Browns, getting him an Odell. Okay, out there with about two other great receivers. The defense that they have to keep the other guys from getting to the end zone with the Myles Garrett, okay, Clowney, the DBs, the Newsome, Ward, the trouble. Oh, the trouble that this would all cause. Man. And then, like I said, and they're adding Josh Jackson in secondary. So the defense already would be ridiculous. Like, did y'all see what the running back core? Kareem Hunt, Nick Chubb, that pass action. Oh my goodness, they would be. Everybody would be terrified of the Browns, terrified, which is something that we haven't heard. You know, that sounds so different. But man, think about how elite they were this past season. They're in a tough division. First of all, they're definitely a tough division. But the Browns would be on top for the next couple years for sure, with no one having to blink. So that's my favorite personally, just because like even both ways, even Baker just in Green Bay, seeing if he can make that work for himself. I don't know if he would stick up for himself like Aaron did. You know, he might let them run all over him there, but dang, that'd be crazy. That one would be crazy. All right. And in that one, again, the trade value and who they get on both sides is a little bit better than the last one. So that's the trend we're going here in the order of the teams, but still. New York Giants, they get Rodgers, and what they would give up is a 2022 first-round pick, 2022 first-round pick from the Bears that they already have, 2023 first-round pick conditional, and wide receiver Darius Slayton. So as you know, cool as Daniel Jones is, so they're not getting rid of him, which means he's just gonna have to take a back seat. All right, he's gonna have to become a backup quarterback after being a starting quarterback for as long as he has. I don't know if that's a normal thing, but he get out there, and I mean, I guess you know you got Saquon, and they got a couple other guys that could help them out, offensive wise. I think they had just missed getting them the Heisman Alabama superstar. So it isn't like they add to it that way. That would have been crazy though in that case. So this one's not too And then just the NFC East, just don't do Aaron like that. I mean, he could go over there and dominate it, but where's the fun in the game, right? Gotta have some fun in the game. Let's see, to make it creative, nah, we're not going to do that. All right, going over to Miami. So the Miami, apparently this one includes kind of like a three-way deal with the Steelers as well, just to put Tua somewhere, from my understanding. So what the Packers would get, they would the Dolphins and the Steelers basically team up to give them the 2022 first-round pick from the 49ers that the Dolphins own, the 2023 first-round pick of whichever is better out of the Dolphins and 49ers, the 2023 fifth-round pick from the Dolphins, the 2022 first-round pick from the Steelers. A lot of great picks, all right? Steelers get Tua, and the Dolphins get Rodgers, and the 2023 fourth-round pick from the Packers, all right? Solid. So we see Aaron Rodgers down there in Miami, which he would have a ball. I know it. We'd see pictures of him with some drop-top convertible and shades on, enjoying the city. He would enjoy it. I guarantee it. But this is a team that's been on the come up. I think that'd also be interesting to see him dominate Tom Brady's old division. go over there and put whipping on poor Belichick. Belichick would cry if Rodgers came to their division. Don't sleep on the Bills still. That situation has not changed. So that will still be a very tough team for them to beat. But going out there, him having this receiver core of Will Fuller, Jalen Waddle, Devontae Parker. Yeah. Definitely trying to see that episode, right? That seems like that would be a great time. He would have a ball. But Tua in Pittsburgh, I don't like. I mean, I love Mike. I think that'd be a great coach for him to, be under. But just not in Pittsburgh. The weather, the fans, and stuff like that, I feel like would not mix well with Tua. I just don't. It'd be interesting to see, I guess, just to see how it works out. But I don't think that's the match made in heaven there. All right, I got two more real quick. First one, going back to the NFC least, Washington football team. They will get Rodgers, and the Packers will get the 2022 first-round pick, 2022 second-round pick, 2023 first-round pick, 2023 second-round pick, quarterback Fitzpatrick, and defensive tackle Matt Ioannidis. I ain't gonna lie, I think that might be one pick overpaid or something, because, Fitzmagic only got so much capital, but, defensive tackle Matt Ioannidis, that's pretty up there. And then you're gonna get a first-round pick and a second-round pick for the next 2 years? Think that's a little overpaying there, Washington, if you ask me. So, like I said, it went from don't think this is good enough to these are good, they're getting better as far as what the trade value, to okay, now I think you're overdoing it and doing a little too much for me. Now, again, a division he can come in and dominate in, but it won't be much competition, which will make the game less fun. But he would be a transformative quarterback for the Washington team. They've cycled through starting quarterbacks for years now, trying to get something to stick. So, even though he wouldn't be a long-term solution, he's definitely a short-term one that I think Dan Snyder would be very pleased to accommodate, being that, he just took over. He could look for a promising, receiver core in Terry McLaurin and Curtis Samuel. We can see that. It's a team that kind of proved itself on defense lately. This last season, they were, better than usual, and maybe they're going to keep that trajectory. We'll see. But all in all, not enough for me to just be excited if I ever heard it happen. Now, the number one option that, for who can go for him the best with the most, the Denver Broncos. They would get Aaron Rodgers and cornerback Eric Stokes. And then the Packers would get cornerback Patrick Surtain II, who they just drafted, who was a top 1-2 cornerback. They get wide receiver Tim Patrick, quarterback Drew Lock, 2022 first-round pick, and 2023 first-round pick. The 2 first-round picks. Now, I think maybe I would have made that 2023 one a second-round pick to make it just, yeah. Like, with it being just their next 2 years first-round picks, plus, a cornerback that was a first-round pick. And then a quarterback and a receiver. Not the best ones, but a quarterback in the NFL, starting quarterback in the NFL, and a receiver. That's a lot. That's a lot. Okay, that's a bunch. And I'm not even gonna say Aaron Rodgers don't deserve it, but you gotta understand the kind of capital you have of interest to these people, of them coming over. And what I mean by that is that Broncos is an interesting place for Aaron because you have Cortland Sutton coming off injury. He has Jared Jeudy. He has KJ Hamler. He has weapons. You guys have weapons over there. So it's you got to show somebody a house, and it's the house might be old, but hey, you do have a big backyard. You do have a pool. These amenities here, still make you kind of attractive. So you don't got to, undersell yourself so much. Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind, Denver. if you guys are gonna go for him. But like I said, Denver is probably the best option as far as, trade wise and what's available and who can do what. But come on, guys. I know everybody would love to see him play for the Browns and just see them be that dominant team that everybody's afraid of. Oh my goodness, that'd be so exciting, bro. I'm hyped just thinking about it. I am. But it is what it is. All right, that's something I had to take a whole segment to discuss. But I mean, hey, definitely in the comments, just drop what you guys think. What places excite you, or what trade options do you see that maybe I didn't discuss here? Who needs him more? Actually, let's talk about that. Which team do you think deserves him? All of that stuff. We could definitely have conversations around that as well. Being that after the draft is, it's just everybody in the media talking about it. We haven't really heard much else from anywhere else. I think we're still going to be having these conversations for a few more weeks. So definitely drop those comments so that we can talk about all of it some more as time progresses. But it is time for another commercial break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
This is your ultimate stop for everything sports. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Should I say more? From the NFL, MLB, the NBA to MMA, it's all in here. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Listen now.
Thank you for your patience as always. You made it through the commercial break. We're back, man. I hope these commercial breaks get you hyped though. Like these shows that we got on here on GSMC be legit, man. So, hyping up the football, the fantasy football, literally every other genre you can think of that we have here, man, you guys should check out. But you are tuned into the football, GSMC football podcast here with your boy, DJ Youngs. So this is the final segment of this episode, and with this one, keeping it, related to these young guys, the draft guys. So I kind of want to touch on who I think have some of the best chances of becoming Rookie of the Year this upcoming season. 2020 was a bit of a different season, but things are looking on the up and up, going back to normal. So that shouldn't interfere, right? But I'm not gonna rank them yet and give like the complete solid idea of what I think is going to be, because we gotta wait till we get closer to the season, or really once the preseason start. Because how many years is it that a top first round draft pick gets injured at some point before the season starts, and then don't even get to play? That happens so often. Not even just in football, that happens in basketball too. In NBA, it happens all the time too. It's tough, but it happens. We don't know who is maybe gonna move around. Something else could happen. Life is still crazy outside of sports, so you never know if anybody has to step away, and then last but not least, but the most important, who's going to even win the job for the people that has to compete for the job. There's some that obviously we know they're starting day one, right? But some are going to have to compete. So that being said, man, I'm really going to base it off of skill players, pretty much the first two rounds, on what I think, what their, close percentage of chance being that they could be that person. And then I'm going to tell you why the people that I don't think can get it, why not. All right, so I'm going to discuss that real quick here. I'm really going to do it pretty much in the order of the draft, not every single one. Like I said, I'm going to give you the guys that I believe really have the opportunity here for the most part as of now that I can see it happening for. All right, So starting off with the first overall pick in Trevor Lawrence, going to the Jags, a team that truly needed a commander-in-chief at quarterback, somebody with an arm. But with that, you also need assistance. This is a team game, so Trevor can be a great quarterback, but he's going to still need compatible receivers to throw the ball to, a running back that understands, his game, which they did get ETN in there, so somebody he's been running with for years now. But again, we don't know if ETN will be starting. So with Trevor, to be honest, if Trevor and ETN start together, I think we would have some trouble on our hands. Not sure how legit their offensive line is to get ETN that type of coverage and chances of winning. But as far as who they have there, receivers, the new coach, Urban Meyer, I think Trevor has a solid 50-50 chance. And it's only at 50-50 and not higher because it's a 50-50 as in he either is going to win it for sure, he's going to come out and it's going to be a projection going his way the entire season, or the team's not doing what it needs to do and don't get it done throughout the season, and obviously that's going to hurt Trevor's chances. So that's why it's at a 50-50. And going on to the next one, I like to pretty much relay that same thing with Zach Wilson out of BYU, playing for the Jets now, is that I don't think there's enough there based off of what I've seen to give him that opportunity to be that. Now, one could say the same for the Chargers, and looking at what Justin Herbert just did, but I felt like they were already an okay team when they had Rivers and was making that happen. So once Herbert took over, it was just kind of like, hey, just be solid and you'll at least get the same productivity that Rivers got, which he's, a long vet and, somebody that could just, at least keep them relevant. So he was able, coming in as a rookie, if you can keep your team relevant and, throw for however many thousands of yards, he threw for 17 or something crazy. No, it wasn't 17. He threw for a lot of yards. Might have been 1,700, maybe. Yeah. So those two guys, it's hit or miss. Depends on if for whatever reason their receivers and stuff like that are really killing the game. Now Trey Lance, we don't expect to start. So if he's not starting, then he can't be rookie of the year, right? Now let's talk about some of these skilled players that are not at the quarterback position. Next three guys are dependent on the quarterback: Kyle Pitts, Jamar Chase, and Jalen Waddle. Okay, Kyle Pitts, he's in a position where Matt Ryan definitely wants to use him, I'm sure, assuming Matt Ryan's the starting quarterback. But they got other stuff there. You got Calvin Ridley, who just came off a great season with them. Julio hopefully bounces back. So it'll be spaced out a lot, and there's not enough for Kyle to do to win it. That'd be surprising. I'm pretty sure there's probably not even a tight end that has ever won Rookie of the Year, if not just a very small number, one, if that. All right, and then Jamar Chase. Now this one is interesting. If it comes down to receivers, to be honest, the two receivers that I think it could happen for, if it's going to happen for a receiver, is Jamar Chase and Jalen Waddle. Jamar Chase won because obviously as soon as they said his name, we knew who Joe's number one favorite receiver was going to be. They already have this connection of understanding each other that they can bring and execute for Cincy now. So, Joe gives him the ball, which Joe isn't a rookie anymore, so Joe can't win Rookie of the Year, but he most definitely can help Chase do it. So, getting him the ball at the right time, at the right moment, letting him get those yards in, having him a spectacular season, kind of like how Justin Jefferson just did with the Vikings, but double it. You know what I'm saying? That's what I think we could see from Jamar Chase, and if that is the case, he will undoubtedly win the Rookie of the Year. Now, same thing for Jalen Waddle. He's teaming up with his old quarterback And in a market where I can definitely see them using him all over the place. There's other receiver options to keep the field open, but Jalen Waddle, compared to many times with Tyreek Hill, oh yeah, ripping and running and running and ripping and crossing the field left and right, and either being a distraction or being the guy that made the play. And hopefully he's getting healthier. Hopefully his leg and foot is good, ankle and stuff. But I mean, I do, out of these two, I have to say I could see Jamar a little bit over Jalen. But like if I had, like I said, my top two who would have a chance would be these guys. Now, right underneath that, of course, would be Devontae Smith, him teaming up with Hurts and Philly. But again, I think that he will have a harder time, mainly because defense are going to pay more attention to him. This guy that has a target on his back. One, he, a Heisman winner. He went crazy in the championship. So a lot of people going to, try to shut it down and be like, yeah, that was you in college, but that ain't you here in the league. We grown here. And then, his size. So they might try to, big bro him a lot, which means, bully him, like, stuff like that. But if they, use him like he was using in Alabama, moving him around a lot in Philly and giving him the opportunity to be open, then he has a chance to. He could put a lot of big yards up. And Philly, the thing is, I tell you right now, if that kind of performance happens, Philly wins the NFC East for sure. Because the type of productivity that would take, well, I can't say for sure because Dallas could still have a great season. It would just be those two teams having a great season. It would be duking it out to see who wins it. But that's how that looks. Going up to some of the defensive players, so I want to also throw in here, Pat Surtain and J.C. Horn, who went 8-9. It's really, 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 really tough for DBs to win it, of course. We get that. They have to have, like, a crazy amount, like 10 interceptions plus in a season or something like that. It will guarantee them defensive rookie of the year, but rookie of the year overall, they would have to do some crazy stuff like a whole bunch of interceptions and running the back. If that's to happen for anybody, I would say, Pat Surtain got that upper hand, man. I think he would have that chance, but whew. I mean, keeping on defense, same goes for Michael Parsons with Dallas. Definitely think he is a great addition there, and it'd be cool to see him really getting active out there for them. But, I mean, just imagine how many tackles he would have to make in order to win Rookie of the Year. My goodness. He'd have to make so many tackles, have to have so many pass deflections, have to have a couple interceptions in there, and possibly some ran back for a touchdown. He would have to move mountains to win it, which I'm not saying I don't think he's capable of. It's just like when it comes to likelihood and the percentages like we're talking about right now, it's in the least likely. Now, something going back to the most likely is the person that got picked by somebody that traded up a lot to go grab him, and that's Justin Fields going to Chicago. Now, on the depth chart, for some reason, you still got Andy Dalton as starter. But like I have said multiple times on here, like starting when I did the fun facts with you guys, there is a reason Chicago's, chance, the percent chance of going to the Super Bowl went down when Andy Dalton got there. Andy Dalton was with Cincy, and every time that he made it to the playoffs, got knocked out in the first game. He just all he is and has been is a starting quarterback. He got over to Dallas, had to take over for Dak after his terrible injury, and wasn't able to do anything. Got himself injured. Well, of course he didn't get himself injured, but got injured, and it just isn't enough. It just wasn't done. Like, they just keep him in the league because he's had the experience, if you ask me, but he hasn't had enough accomplishments. So, look, need to go ahead and get with the wave. Like I keep saying, it's going to be within the next 5 years that this league is slowly changing. But look at your Lamar Jackson. Look at your Deshaun Watson. Look at your Patrick Mahomes. These are guys that Justin Fields has put himself in a position to compete with. All right, he's a dual threat quarterback that has the arm that is needed to succeed in this game right now. He has the mindset. All he needed was everything else. He just came out of the championship game. His defense couldn't stop, Devontae Smith and gang. So that hurt him a little bit. But as far as, a kid that has the vision, has the IQ, we've seen it all from him. He just needs to be put in the right situation. So he's up there. If he is starting from the beginning of the year, I think he has a better chance than a lot of these quarterbacks out there. I'm not going to say that Chicago has the best chance as far as, weapons for him, but like when it comes to somebody making something out of nothing, this is who you should look at. Okay? This is somebody that can take what he has out there in Chicago and, make it happen. I like the pick especially because he's coming from Ohio State. He was just playing at Ohio State in the cold, and now you got him there in Chicago in the cold. So I think he could compete quite well here and give him a great chance. Now, the other quarterback across the way, that boy Mac Jones. Now, I don't see it happening for Mac. Patriots are still trying to figure out what they want to do as far as starting quarterbacks. And then even if he starts, it's just it's too much in there, man, to deal with. I can't see it happening. I think Mac Jones is the least likely out of the quarterbacks taken in literally the first 2 rounds, honestly. It's probably not going to happen for him. It can't. All right, now, so those are really the main guys, honestly, that it could be for now. Going to the second half of this first round, just some ones I would like to highlight that could make it happen if it's up to them. It's really up to them and their team. Again, and then just assuming that these guys start, they're going to have to move mountains. So, Jalen Phillips, DN at Miami now. I mean, out of Miami, for Miami. That's why it was a little confusing. It's going to have to put on a show, man. It's going to have to sack quarterbacks endless times, be a threat, be a menace, be better than, even Chase Young coming in last year and being a menace. It would take a lot, but I don't think it's going to be forgotten. Kadarius Toney, yeah, New York, going to have to put up some crazy numbers. Going to have a 2K season for sure. Got to have a 2K yard season. That'd be the only way. Quiddipe, same thing for him as Jalen Phillips. Going to have to go crazy, getting back there, creating the pressures, disrupting the offense so much that they literally possibly go undefeated, and it's because of him. All right, and maybe not the whole season, but at least for like the first 12-plus games. Najee Harris, I think this one is actually on the likelier side. He should definitely be starting for the Steelers when he get there, and the Steelers really need it. We saw that the Steelers were a solid team last year. They just had to clean up some things, which I guarantee you that's what they've been thinking about ever since they got whooped by the Browns. They've been thinking about where to clean things up, which one of them was to get a running back. And they didn't even get their, typical power back that they're used to. Like, no, they actually went and got themselves an elusive back, a dual threat running back, if you ask me, to somebody I think can make it happen when you just hand the ball and tell them to go run, as well as somebody that you could be like, hey, I need you to block / get off that block and go to that open linebacker position and catch the ball, run up the field, give me some extra yards, get some yards after breaking tackles. Like, Najee can do it all. So very well-rounded, so very versatile that I think that if they use him almost like Christian McCaffrey is used in Carolina, that he has a chance of combining for, like 2,000 rushing, 1,000 receiving, and winning offensive / overall rookie of the year unanimously. All right? Like, literally, like that could definitely be the case. I like it a lot. Running back wise, that's my number one option at running back for winning it. All right. Again, like I said, Travis Etienne, who's picked right after Najee. Don't get me wrong. I think that if he's starting with alongside his quarterback, that they gonna do some damage, just not award-winning damage. Okay. The end of the first round, it's not enough there. Peyton Turner, Eric Stokes, Gregory Rousseau. Well, Gregory Rousseau, maybe same thing. Got to really create some havoc. Rashad Bateman, no. I don't think it's enough opportunity for him there at going over to the Ravens. I don't think that could happen. As far as second round guys making it happen, Elijah Moore, on the Jets, catching those balls. Like, Elijah Moore is a really good receiver. A lot of people just don't understand that. Him getting those balls from his brand new quarterback in Zach Wilson, no. It's really hard, to be honest, to see Jets do anything that successful. I'm really not trying to be a butthole about it. It's just Jets are in that position where it's like, you got to show me. I just can't just hear from you and believe you. Like, y'all, they could be loaded up with so much talent, and I still be like, we got to see. Like, they could have like 3 Pro Bowlers just ended up over there, and I'd be like, we got to see. Javonte Williams, who's like the number 3 running back in this draft, going to the Broncos. I don't think the Broncos have the right setup for him, but I mean that's a great kid that he would have to make it happen on his own, unfortunately, to really stand out for sure. And then from there, man, I can't really see any of these other guys, the receiver or not. Terrence Marshall Jr., Tutu Atwell. I can't see it. So, and then at the end of the second round, Kyle Trask going to the Buccaneers. That guy's not even starting. We know that for a fact. So in the second round, I can't really see it. But third round, the ones that might be sleepers, I could see Kellen Mond actually coming and doing some surprising things if he gets to start. Let's say worst case scenario, something happens to Cousins, kind of in a similar way that something happened to Tyrod last year, and then Justin was able to jump in there. If something unfortunate, and I'm not trying to wish that upon, because of course I think he should definitely play, and Mon should sit a year, but if you got to answer the call when it's there. So Mon gets in after either the first 2 games, and I think he can run away with it. Not enough to make them Super Bowl contenders, but enough to where in the worst case scenario they are competing, and all the other rookies just aren't doing much of anything special. Mon could have the upper hand here. Okay, so it would take him doing well and everybody else doing bad, honestly. I don't think he just come in here and dominated over everybody else, but he can make himself at least known at that position for sure. Just like all the other dual threat quarterbacks I've been talking about. David Mills, who got picked right after him to the Texans, that's a no-go. Just even no matter what happens with Deshaun Watson, the Texans are just L City, and they're not going to have any success this year. I'm pretty sure. All right. If you think so, I'm sorry. If you're a Texan fan, I'm sorry. Look, I'm a Rockets fan, and I literally just saw a post that they posted and was like, shout out to everybody that's sticking through this season that we're in. Yes, you have to apologize. I know you have to apologize because this is pitiful. But hey, you win some, you lose some. You just gotta live long enough to make it to the season where you have a chance to be like the Browns, a team that was literally nothing, didn't win a game, to a team that is, I believe, is going to win the division, that is a solid team, that beat a great team like the Steelers. And if they happen to get their hands on Aaron Rodgers, could be the scariest team in the league, even more scarier than Tampa Bay. But hey, man, I just have to bring it all home right there, man. That is the end of the segment. That is the end of this episode. But as always, I please would like to ask that you don't forget to subscribe to the show. Leave comments, reviews, go back to the other segments. As I said, tell me your thoughts about what you think about Aaron Rodgers' situation, where you think he's going, what you thought about the trade options, if you had another trade. Put that all in there, man. We'll check it out. I'll check it out and maybe even have a whole segment of me replying to those, talking about that kind of stuff. Be real interesting and a fun time. All right. Please follow us on all social media platforms. That's Instagram, Twitter, all of that at GSMC_football. All right. But I appreciate you all for spending this time with your boy, DJ Youngs. Good night. Good evening. Y'all have yourselves a good one. Peace out.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.